Uhamivish Imzaia, nice to connect with you today. I would like to speak a little bit more about the choices that one student made. So what about thinking about choices as opportunities? What about thinking about choices you do not realize that you have? Pretty much the same as your thought. Is important to realize that there are certain things that are put upon you without you realizing it, and it's a passive way to stop you. It's something that you should realize, and most of the time you do not realize that you have another choice. You can do something different about the situation you are in if you don't like it, and even if you like it, you can also maybe improve your commitment to do better every time. Your thoughts are not your own, but your choices based on your thought are not your own either most of the time, unless you make a conscious you get a grip on it, basically. You decided to change your perspective on this situation. You see honestly that an external situation that is bothering you is created by yourself, being an object or people around you, whatever happens. It's always an opportunity to grow. It's always something that you can learn from, and then when you decide to do it, you can be actually very much surprised with the result. So, what to do with this? I think keeping it very, very simple is always the good way to go with Ascension. It's something very simple. It might feel very difficult, but it actually is not difficult at all. It's just a question of focus, a question of not letting go when you decided to do something, not letting go when you actually are not sure that it's totally done. You have to continue until you feel the joy, because it's always going to be about love. If you express love for what you are doing, love for the choice, love for the opportunity, and you express that, even if really at some point you don't realize, or you don't see how that simple perspective of feeling that and trying to activate that in your heart is going to change the situation. And when it does, it's such a great joy that comes with it, but also something that creates, again, something that you can refer to next time you will be better. So, choose to be happy, choose to love everyone because you love yourself in this way, and choose to be a student, even if you are not committed to the ascension process. Choose to be lovely. That's very simple commitment for yourself to keep. It works for me. I hope you will practice, because this is actually the matter of it all. Your thoughts are not your own, your choices are not your own, but you can do something about it. you can let go of all the filters that are the reason for that to be happening in this way. So liberate yourself from that and then start again if you are not dead yet. Enjoy. Sanakya.
Welcome to Ascension Road.
So we just start recording and
No, so we I think making something for a form entry for social media. I was pondering this morning how important it is to have that connection, especially for all these students out there who don't have what we have. I mean, we've been together for years and years and years. Yeah. And so we have that advantage of having that part of reflection in our daily lives, and to be able to study together. I think it is really, really important.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what your take is on that.
Yeah, there were several things I thought about this morning, because a part of it is also to share what your struggles were, the things of struggles, but also what kind of things you ran into.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that if you join and start a study that it needs to happen. I think a lot of things, what we did, it will be so much easier, especially with the study of the path, where it's actually basic about exercising the basic ingredients. But you need to know about the illusion. And now I'm getting to the point where I was this morning. I thought sometimes it might be helpful to share things about your past, about your personality life. But at the same moment, it's just a story. That was the thing where I was. Okay, how? And another way, I think, if you can share it from the perspective of it's a part of your experience. Sharing an experience in a neutral way, then I think it will be okay.
Yeah,
but at the same time, where I thought, okay, I can feel where some things are still quite loaded.
It's true.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, because I've been pondering the very same thing, and it's actually a form entry I started yesterday and didn't get to finish it because I got stuck on my own, about the story, about the fact that why your life is or whatever you think you have experienced as a personality is but a story, because that is exactly what Ascended Life has always told us. But to take that literal, to really, because you can easily say, oh yeah, it's just a story, but to understand what that means, that actually nothing of that is real.
Yeah.
And nothing of that really happened. It just happened in your head, basically. Yeah. But to get to that understanding, and that's where I kind of got stuck, because
what was very helpful for me was the other night in the live stream where the Sanka shared how all our senses are so set up in a certain way that we will perceive it in a certain way, everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I wanted to say with that, but I realized, yes, that for that reason, and of course we also know the things that are temporary are not real are just experiences.
Yeah. So that's also where I kind of got because I how do I explain that? Because of course on the one hand it's just still theory in a way. And what we discussed the other day at the table when Avasan said that she realized in that moment that actually because this is all an ekraya, what we're doing, that actually the moment we came into this ekraya was the moment we stepped onto the path with having a full head of memories of what came before. But that is just that, and I think that is correct. So actually, I would like to have that to have ascended life, to have ascended life's take on that. But it made a lot of sense to me that is the moment that we projected ourselves into the ekraya, the moment when we entered the path. And everything that came before, the whole personality story with birth and growing up and school and marriage and what have you not, is nothing but a story in our head. And what makes it more tricky then is what happened a few times with me on the path, that then the players of that story make an entrance into this reality. So, but then I also see it's all my creation, and they couldn't be there if I wouldn't have created them there. So that doesn't mean that so it's not completely clear in my head, but this is kind of as far as I got with that.
Yeah, and if you go to what Apakma Jensen recently said, it's quite simple, 3 steps. If you only do that, but have a look. Nothing before, nothing after. The inside is your outside, what you see. With the entrance, it's and if you take that really literally and observe it, wow.
But that is the whole thing, that gets us back to taking things literally. And I think that was the biggest mistake is not the right word, but where mind kind of then takes all of these things that ascended lives and kind of metaphorical. Not always, but some things, especially the things that it needs to place apart, because it means the death of the personality, and those things need to be, for the mind, put away in a metaphorical box somehow, because and that's really the thing. If you take this, indeed, that everything is created from sun, from those basic building blocks. Nothing came before, nothing comes after. The only thing that counts is this now moment. And apart from that, nothing is real. So these are mental gymnastics that sometimes are still. But to go back to the fact that why it is so important to have a sounding board with other students on that level, because of the fact that mind often dismisses these things, and if you don't have anybody to tell you otherwise, that's where you get stuck again.
And another thing of being together, what how everyone has his own. If we look at some ingredients, and everyone is a unique expression from the one, from that one consciousness, one heart. but also how creation, like what Oyadasanka shared, I think it was in the rainbow room or the rainbow vibrations. If there are 3 points, 3 beings looking at the same point, they all will see something different. But with seeing that, the 4th point is created and a new experience can be there. That's also the importance of being together, that people are here, so it's a complete build-up.
Yeah.
It can be so huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
I really that's one of the things that I really appreciate. And as I said the other day with the live stream, how much those moments where is so important to me. I feel where we're tuned into one focal point as a group, not only us here, but everyone that is watching at the same time is also part of that, and with that expands the whole experience again. So so there is it's quite something.
And see us sitting here under a tree.
Is in this beautiful plants. So, but that is, I mean, the invitation is there for everyone to join, and that is what the Solaris-san also said in the Art of Portal Travel, that the space is opening up in Europe for everyone to join, and not even not necessarily in the physical, but in the metaphysical, and if need be in the digital. But the space has been created and it's here, so it's it's a wonderful opportunity for all of us to expand. And so again, I can only encourage anyone out there to subscribe to the student program on Imzaia Road, and become a student and share your experiences on the forum with us together, so we can all grow together.
Welcome to Ascension Road.
Maybe something I want to mention as well is, at some point in the process, when you are facing a choice, do I choose for ascension? Do I choose to join the path? Do I choose for following a teacher, or whatever meant for you ascension? You're faced with a choice, and then this bit of a paradox there. You realize that you already did it, you already choose for it. That's sort of the meaning of your life, that you realize that's here, that's why and how and what means everything to me, and I knew it already. So there is no even consideration of a choice where, when you do it, there's just a liberation of everything that you carried for life after life after life, that you didn't really see it for what it was. And then there is such a gratitude, there is such a joy that comes with it. And you love yourself, I think. You look at yourself in the mirror and say, I knew it already. And I had to do it, and didn't have the guts yet. And when you do, you feel extremely, it's satisfying experience. I think it makes you very happy to realize that this choice that you had and that you take in this moment, it's a liberation from a resistance that was there all along, and you didn't realize that kind of what Ascension life is telling us all the time, that we do not realize what it is about when we have to work on something, and it's always such a success for your heart. Feels it's beating again, and I'm very grateful. Will not have make any other choice.
Welcome to Ascension Road.
Sadeki, here we are again, and it is our intent to share a little bit of our personal process of ascension. I have with me today the Amsterdam, and I think the topic that we intend to discuss is separation and how we are finding our way through this.
Indeed, and it's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's also explained in the teachings that is the underlying factor that is causing all of the illusions. So, yeah. How are you working with that in this moment?
Well, we had a nice conversation before we started today because we were talking about what to talk about, basically. And, it really became clear that there are many objects that we could talk about. This is such an amazing journey, and what we're doing right now, especially with these journals, is letting go of a lot of gunk. And one of the things that has always plagued me is separation. And I was even curious, even on the ascension path, when do we finally get rid of a separation? Do we have to ascend or almost ascend, or is it possible to do that sooner rather than later? That's always been on my mind. So we started talking about separation, and we discovered that we both can identify with that in our personality lives. I can share a little bit about that if you'd like, but it's an illusion, and the Ascension journals actually are helping me, because I'm forcing myself to put myself out there, and I'm dealing with it from the perspective of knowing that it's an illusion, but it's still there. So what I think we hope to do with these Ascension journals is make it safe for other people to share those things that are there for them that they feel hold them back. So separation shows up just in daily interactions often, not all the time, but enough that, there's a mistranslation in something I said or meant, and the receiver, and you never know if it was you or the other person, but at the end of the day, in the intercreational relationship, it's you. You're observed. What we create and what we observe is our creation, and vice versa. So it's a big one, and I'd love to get it done, over and done with. So I address it, but it still lingers.
Yeah, I think that is the big one for all of us, as this whole reality is based on that concept. So if we're able to actually find our way through that, I'm sure everything is going to change. Our whole experience, our whole interaction, all of our settings of the personality, because that is really its foundation. The experience in itself separate from everything that is around it.
And truly, when I'm in the heart, and I know this is true for everybody, when you're truly, truly in the heart, it doesn't even have room to play.
No, and it's the mental interpretation of what is going on, and that is really what we're trying to override now. To no longer run with that, or to no longer follow just that interpretation, but to go more into a feeling level and to interact from there. Yeah.
Well, I think maybe it's interesting, a little bit of our preliminary talk, how we, as humans, in a distorted vibrational reality, and in this Ekaria have created things, we find ways
before we come on the path and start to really address all those things, we find ways to survive. The ego and mind and personality are very good at that. So even as young children, we had
certain defense mechanisms. Surviving mechanisms.
So I wanted to share, I don't want to really go into the whole experience, but I don't remember exactly how old the body was, maybe about 4 or 5, I don't know. But basically decided she didn't want to be here and do this. And then screamed that out to the world at the time. And as a result of that, separated herself into 2 beings. So, which was actually to survive. Actually, it was a survival mechanism, or was it? Was it what I created on purpose in order to teach these things to myself? Long journey, have mostly addressed that, but it still lingers a little bit because there's like I don't think I feel like 2 people, but from the perspective of not always feeling a unity. So that could be underlying, playing out still.
Yeah, I'm sure that it is. But I think it's also important to then look at the fact that this is indeed a concept, and that the decision that you made at some point to separate yourself from all that is around can be reversed, because that is basically where that illusion comes from making that decision in an attempt to protect yourself.
Indeed.
But since that is no longer needed now, that is really the journey that we're taking our way back to that unification, to the remembrance that even if that decision was made at some point, that can always be reversed, and that connection has always still been there, even if we were not aware of it. That's something that I also expressed yesterday towards other students. I think, like, every time when you feel your heartbeat, if you ever feel lonely, just remember that there is a force that is actually making your heart beat, because otherwise it cannot beat. So if you're able to focus there, then you will be aware again of that connection, and you will be able to make your mind come to a more peaceful state and let it remember what is the actual truth underneath all of this distortion that you have been identifying with for a very long time.
Yeah, I think it's important to be honest and to share that. I mean, we've all been around for a number of years here on the Ascension path with the Imzaia material, and still those things linger. And I was thinking today, I'm preparing another Ascension journal for another reason, and somewhere along the line I thought about patterning and ego, personality, mind, but mostly personality. We all have personality traits and that type of thing. And Tapak Yinsan has always shared, patterning needs no identification. And I know that, but I hadn't thought of it in those words, and they popped in today. And Tapak Karasan used to say, well, he actually said in a teaching or once that he differs slightly from Tapak Yinsan. I hope he forgives me for saying this. But, if you use it to just a little to get some insight about what you're doing and whatnot, then it maybe is not always a bad thing. But I'm here now saying, having done this for a number of years, that I'm ready to just do patterning needs no identification, because I think I clung to that. Like, that was early in maybe 2012, and I was like really looking at a lot of things from a new perspective. You can easily get caught in a pattern of even doing something that you think is appropriate on a spiritual or awakening perspective, because it becomes then a pattern that you still need to let go of. So that's one of the reasons why I'm really excited about the Ascension journals. I think this is my 4th. I don't know, but I mean, I dove in. It was scary. I was nervous. I think I said I was on camera once, I think, in my entire life. And it's a little different, I think, when you're in a room and there's camera, you're holding your iPhone in front of you. It's very confronting. We've all experienced that. But the only way out is through. So I just need like maybe 1 or 2 things that get me started, and then I can go. But so it's been very helpful. But we wanted to do this together too, because we're changing things up a little bit, and I so honor you, Tapata-san, Kalimba-san. You were so very helpful all of the time, and the love that you express is just always present. And part of my excitement and joy to do this is not only because of that, I get to sit here and do this together with you, but also because this started as, I think, an outgrowth of one of our teachings, embracing the creator self. It wasn't actually, I don't think it was actually said that way, but it was embracing the creator self. Then some things happened, and now we're doing Ascension journals, and I kept feeling like there was a connection. And for me, it really is there, you know. And so embracing the creator self is embracing the true heart. Now, separation is not part of that. So
yeah, no, I think
that's why I wanted to do this, because
really well indeed in that way, because
Yeah.
then if that awareness is there, that creator self is always around and within you, then that connection is way more present, which will overcome the illusion of separation.
yeah, and experience is important, because as you said that, I just said, well, this embracing the creator self is so important to me, and with the connection with these Ascension journals, if I feel separate, I'm going to remember that, you know. And I was just going to go to my heart. I really love being in service to others. That's it. I said in one of my journals that, you know, it really floats my boat. And I want to be the best Ascension student that I possibly can. And then on the other hand, there's, like, I was thinking earlier when we were talking about doing this, I said, I put myself out there, and I know there are a lot of beautiful Imzaia and people that I've known over the years who think that I've got it all together. And I'm a steward for everything Ascension with Imzaia or whatever, because I share on social media and that type of thing. But yet this runs. So we're all doing this, walking each other home. So I'm honored to share this. And just by sharing it, it feels lighthearted.
Yeah,
There's
true.
no emotion around it at all.
No,
So-
because we're doing what we want to do,
Yeah.
and that is what is bringing all of these active ingredients back to life.
Yeah. And one of the, we have some Ascension teachings on the active ingredients. We haven't gotten through all of them yet, but the first active ingredient is Da, which is the metaphysical expression for love. And it really is, it may seem, I don't have the word, but sort of like a way, you know, like there's so much talk about, it's all about, it's love, 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 love. I mean, everybody's talking about love. There's nobody not talking about love, sort of, anyone who is interested in moving things forward. But we are exploring that to the extent of actually fully embracing that. Mm-hmm. And I can't say I'm there 100% all of the time, but that's it. And so what this is doing for me too is, and I appreciate that we have this chance to talk together, is, you know, feeling a little bit separated, not good enough, and those things that still linger with personality and ego and mind and all of that stuff. I judge myself sometimes. Do you do that?
I think that's one of the basic programs that are also running in
I know, I thought you
everyone.
would answer that.
But I think that is indeed every time the challenge to overcome, because what is judging you? If there is only the self, then it's basically you judging you, or you judging another you, or, you know, it always comes down to the same thing. So it can be erased, because in the settings that we're stepping in now, there's just no more need for it. You know, we can just observe all of these things from a neutral perspective and have a different interaction with each other. We no longer need that protection or that fighting, or, yeah, all of that is just redundant at this point, because that is, the old settings, the personality settings, and that is not the reality that we are actually experiencing and that we're now finally starting to step into.
Yeah, so what I, you know, the other part about, like, really embracing the creator self, like, I'm really, like, I am just going to keep being with that, so that it just pours out of all my force of my being, at least in the physical reality, and then whatever else it would pour out of in the non-physical. Because with Da and with embracing your creator self, we created this, what we're experiencing as the universe and all of that, out of love. It could not have been created otherwise. And so the journey is to walk through having forgotten all of that and then fully remember it in the full truth of what it is.
And
so
what we are.
What we are. Because this creation could not have been created without love, without Da as the first active ingredient of reality creation, or the building block of San. So I'm just like really jazzed too at the same time. And the way to move past it is like what we're doing. And doing these ascension journals for yourself, or however that may be. Or
overstepping all of these boundaries, no longer identifying with any of these negative aspects.
Yeah. So I would judge myself for like, maybe I should do more, you know, I don't do enough. I should do more journals. I should do this. I should do that.
No, because I think you still find yourself in a mental space. I think if you really are able to contain our energy in the now moment, that these expressions will come different. There will no longer be any mental input, and there will just be more of an expression of the self as a constant.
And of the heart.
Yeah.
That comes from all of those quotes. All of us will be living them. And I often do. They're always, you know, sometimes they just, I shared that there was a day where things were just pouring out of me, like even just reading, just pouring out of me, and I could feel that. And it's interesting. I was sharing earlier with the Padasan that I separated myself into two beings, which was kind of helpful getting through things in the body's early lifetime, but because there was this constant back and forth. But it's sort of like a schism between being intellectual or mental or intelligent, and also being a very strong feeler. So I'm choosing this process to merge those together, and that they will be beneficiary all together as a whole package of who Amber Adams is, as a being on the ascension path, you know, without separation and ego, mind, and personality, always running. Not doesn't always run the show, but running enough of the show that we're doing this in order to change that, and I'm very honored to do that.
Yeah, that's indeed the journey that we're on together, and I'm happy that we found this way now to share that with everyone. So that everyone can see what is happening here, what we're doing, and also what is possible. You know, that we really have the ability to create a whole different reality together, have a whole different experience. And we are given all the tools and all the teachings here to do so. So yeah, all what we have to do is just do it.
So just apply it.
Yeah.
And imagine where we can go beyond those things that hold us back at this level of our experience and training.
Yeah, I think
where
that is
there's
indeed
so
the
much
next
more.
step.
The next step that I'm sure Ascended Life will share about,
what
some of
is
which
it
they've
now?
shared that we have an inkling of. I mean, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, what do we actually want to create? What do we want to experience? What do we want to express? That is now the next part that we're going to step into.
It has been said that Ascended Life in direct tuition, I mean, they don't deal with personality. I mean, there is a level of being responsible as an Ascension student to deal with that and get that out of the way so that you can have amazing conversations and tuition that we're just dreaming of right now. That's my commitment. I know that's your commitment too.
I think that's a nice note to end this conversation.
I do too.
Thank you very much for the talk.
Thank you for the talk.
And will be continued.
Sanike.
Sanike.
Welcome to Ascension Road.
Sanake. A beautiful day to you all. I'm sitting here with the grey sun. We're on a morning walk in our beautiful grounds, or the beautiful lands of Zeelandic Flanders, and we were sitting here at the edge of the Westerschelde, the river that leads into the North Sea over there. So, and we were just thinking, oh, what an awesome experience we're having, what an awesome opportunity we all have to be here as students and well, basically learn with Ascended Life under the guidance of Dapper Queen Son. And I was just saying to the Grey Son earlier how much just Imzaia, the expression, love expressed, means to me. It is something that was in the teachings. At some point it was explained that was the word when we first entered this Equiraya, that we would and manifest it as a body that we would come in as Imzaia.
Yes.
And so it is so because that is one of the words that was spoken about early on in the teachings also, and it is something because yes, it means love expressed, but it really also touched me. It struck a chord in on my heartstrings that really resonated deeply with me, and the whole all of the work, the Imzaia work. The first time I heard the 12 in a teaching, that was really it. All my search that I had been doing for all of my life, I felt that this was where I belonged. This is what I had been looking for all the time. So Imzaia means
like a coming home. For me, it was the first time when I listened. It was like I felt coming home.
Yeah.
If that's an expression that people feel.
Yeah, exactly. That was the feeling of finally having found actually what you were looking for, even though I didn't know what I was looking for, and I didn't know, I couldn't have known what it meant to be Imzaia, to be with Imzaia, to live Imzaia. I had no clue. I just felt this was my starting point. This was where this was where
the journey started.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
yes. Because we all had questions, especially about this reality.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get it at all.
Who did?
Yes, who did?
Yeah, it was true.
And it's actually all how to say it. It's all about perspective. Ascended Life, all the teachings, they give you another perspective on life of what it means and what it entails. It's not about.
I think that the biggest thing for me was that I started to realize at some point that how conditional everything was, that all the people around me, that it was all built on conditions, and that just didn't feel right at all. So finding that's funny. I say I found the work. Of course I didn't. I mean, that was the whole point. But really finding it again and starting to understand. Learning about illusions basically, because that I didn't get that, but once I heard the first time I heard of what back then was Weave Your World with Imzaia work, and the Yeshua Son was in the body at that point. That was shortly before the MGI, the Mastering the Grand Illusions. And then they were speaking about the grand illusions, and it suddenly started hitting me. I mean, that was the big aha moment. That was the, if you will, the Imzaia moment of okay, yes, so now I understand that. Now what?
Yes. And of course, it's also different, the study of vibrations or the study of the power.
Yeah.
It's a whole other concept. First, you learn on all the illusions, actually, what it means to be, to be in an illusion. That was for me the biggest trick. In the beginning, when they said it's an illusion, and I always thought, what's an illusion? But now you can see, and
yeah,
yes.
Even though it's still, I mean, we obviously, since we're not through the illusions, it's still basically on a theoretical level for us. But I think we all have a much deeper understanding of the workings of this reality that we create with every single thought and every single action, and with our senses the whole time. So yeah, Imzaia.
Imzaia.
It was a good place
Yes.
to land, I have to say. And now we're here in these amazing lands of I don't even. It's technically it's the Netherlands, but it's beautiful. It's as you can see, where we're sitting in a field of flowers and birds around us, and it's just absolutely beautiful to be here. And but also that this is the grounds where all the students are invited to come and study with Ascended Life. So I'm extremely thrilled that with what we're building here now,
Yes.
with Dapper Queen Sun, and
especially for the platform called Imzaia. It's if people see these videos, they will have a more familiarized view on this.
Yeah, it's. I mean, that's indeed. You say, of course, it's the Imzaia world. It's that is. Yeah, Imzaia is so much more. It's to learn to live in a sun-based reality, in a reality that is built up of the building blocks, of the true building blocks, rather than the illusory projection. And it's
it's fascinating, actually, when it was explained on Facebook about Ba, the inner and the outer space are the same. But it's true. Whatever you express to the outer, it's coming from the inside and the other way around. So you really create your reality in every moment.
Yeah, and so I think that there was Karasan has a teaching. At some point, it will also be on the website about the ascended senses. It might even be there already. I'm not sure, but and he's speaking about how you can read basically your outer reality. You can read what you see because that is what you feel inside, and that's how what you express basically, because what you see out there is only what has been created within.
Yes.
So and so he said you can learn to use your senses in another way, that to read your thoughts and with what you see around you, and as such have a much better understanding on what's going on inside. So there's all of these things that it's so much, but it's lovely. And then we have the opportunity to between whatever we're doing, to take a walk together or on our own and enjoy our creation.
Yes.
So.
Oh.
You hear the stillness.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Birds and the sea.
So yes, I think I'd like to leave it at that for the moment. And I wish you all a wonderful day.
Yes. And a lot of love from all of us. Like I had.
Welcome to Ascension Road.
Imzaia, everyone. Today, the topic I choose to speak about is miracles. Quite a topic, because people out there, and many people think that without divine intervention or something extremely special needed to happen, and then you have a miracle. You have whatever people consider as a miracle. Well, I'm sorry to say, but that's not true. We have been told that we create our own reality, and people are practicing more and more this fact, and of course things happen that seems to be out of the norm. These are not miracles, are just here to show us what is the normal way, what we should be experiencing all the time, because the metaphysical is never separate from the physical. So it's just because we are out of practice, I guess. I'm just going to give you an example. I woke up in the morning with like an extremely painful problem in the lower back, creating a pain that was absolutely difficult to hold, let's say. So I spent the day on a chair listening to Ascended Life that were actually here teaching us, and at the end of the night, still already affected with it, sitting on the chair and not being able to move at all. The night started to be a little bit different, with people dancing. We were listening to music, which is always fascinating with Ascended Life, because we understand the layer of lyrics of songs, and that was happening. So at some point, this, what people would consider a miracle, happened. I just sitting in my chair with this enormous pain in my back, and I thought, oh, I would so love to dance. Well, it just happened without me at all even aware of what was in between me dancing and me on the chair. It happened like, it's very interesting, difficult to explain again. It is, I had no recollection at all from standing out of the chair I was sitting on and finding myself dancing with absolutely no pain in my back. Oh, so I look everywhere, look around, And of course I was smiling, but I was like so surprised. And it made me so happy. And the only thing I could say like, while dancing was, whoa, that's really cool. So, what I always wonder, in a way, because there are still things in my body that I would like to get rid of it, like this. Boop, go dance. And it doesn't happen this way all the time to me either. So, my question is, did I needed Oyada Sanka, Adam's very son? He was in the room, of course, looking at me. Or was it an unconscious way? What happened really? I remember thinking, oh, I'd like to dance. And then reality shift totally. I was dancing. So that's what I wanted to share, basically. But I think I will speak about it a little bit more today. Not to make it too long, but also to be more accurate about what I want to share about it. And miracles are really cool. I would like to practice more and show you how to do that as well. I mean, there are so many people with so many problems. If we could just dance, would that be good? I think so. Enjoy your miracles. Welcome
to Ascension